Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC's Superman Analysis and Discussion. Today we're going to talk about Episode 2. My name's Benny, that is Dylan, and that is Grant Gustin, aka actual individual Dan. You ever thought about being like a Grant? He's like but you're like a Grant Gustin impersonator, so like they could pay you a small fee to be like.
Oh, yeah, no, I've actually totally thought about buying, like, the legit suit, like, putting on the mask, going places, and pretending to be him, and just see if anyone realizes I'm not. Could be fun.
I want to write, like a really bad Flash short film, just so I can cast you in the lead role and fool everyone.
That'll be awesome. All right, so Superman episode number 2 came out. Real quick, I really enjoyed this episode, and we're going to go through a lot of my notes in a second. But before we go to Dan, Dylan, you had mixed feelings about the first episode. How did you feel about the second one?
I didn't have mixed feelings. I didn't like it. No, this one was better. I thought, like, one of my big complaints about the first episode and kind of the direction that the season was going is that everything to do with the kids is like confused and contrived and like boring.
Yep.
And it seems like they tightened up their like relationship a little bit. They're not focusing on them as much. They're still clearly the focus. But you know, now that we have like the really obvious like plot points out of the way, it's a lot less annoying just to be like, oh, I know where you're going. Oh, you did go there. Okay.
I agree with you on that one. I do feel like the show, and there's one of my things I wanted to mention for today's episode, and we're going to go to Dan, your opinions on the show in general in a second, but I agree with you on that because to me, I feel like someone sat down and said, okay, we got to do 50% Superman. I get you want to do these kids, but we need to make sure that there is a Superman plot. It's not just kids and Superman's there. So I liked that one. Dan, what did you think about episode 1 and now episode 2?
I actually liked both of them. They were a lot better than I was originally expecting because I have not always been the most interested in Superman kind of in general. Plus, I had not watched Supergirl, so I didn't know like the full background, including why there were 2 kids, stuff like that. But you can definitely tell that they're trying to do half of the show is like the DCEU, like movie style Superman stuff, and then the other half is the CW kids dealing with kids stuff. Because I mean that's just generally the CW formula where they always have kind of that, I don't know, I guess slice of life-ish kind of thing. But overall, I'm actually pretty impressed. There have been scenes that I was a little nervous of, like when they start showing like superpowers and stuff like that, where it was like, okay, is this going to look legit or is it going to look like a TV show trying to match the budget of a blockbuster film? And I've actually been really impressed. And yeah, I like Superman versus Doom Guy. I think that's really fun. Or Master Chief. You know what? Pick a guy in a suit because it looks very generic with all of them. But no, I'm actually enjoying it so far. So,
I do want to say I did find it a little funny with the because I've noticed this is in every CW show, and I'm a guy who grew up in the East Coast, up in the northeastern area, literally on a coastline in a forest. Like every setting in a CW show, that was pretty much the kind of setting I grew up in. And I've never been to a bonfire for the high school. Like every CW show does that. Like it's always like all the kids, we all go to school, but the bonfire, that's where all the problems started. Like I grew up in that environment where there was a forest, a beach, like everything you would think of, you know, and I was on the low end of the tracks. There was the high end, like the rich people. Like I was in an episode of Riverdale, basically, and that stuff never happened. So
I feel like even like, especially today, like it's whenever it cuts to the kids scenes, it's so clear that the people writing this are like decrepit, like 40-year-olds because all of the like scenes that take place during like a high school or childhood are like an 80s movie. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what? This is such an outdated like version of what I'm sure children today are experiencing. Like nobody goes to bonfires.
Yeah.
Are you 14 and you go to a bonfire? What kind of life do you lead?
And like everyone's cool with it. And like, oh, and I brought the beer and the teachers don't care what's happening in the school. And I don't know. I've noticed it. it's like a trend of like, there's always that show where the teachers overly care or the teachers have nothing to do with the students' lives. There's no just like, here's life show.
Oh, give it a couple episodes and we'll have that one teacher that truly cares, while the other ones don't care. That one, he wants the best for his kids. He's
trying to improve Smallville. So I want to go to that first one thing, because that was one of my biggest complaints from last episode, that Smallville itself wasn't really being used. Lois seemingly was just along for the ride, even though her name was in the title.
Right.
This episode kind of corrected both of those. Lois is trying to write the article. We get to see more of what Lois does, doing the Lois Lane thing, plus Smallville's trying to expand and how it affects the town. I liked how they roped all that into the plot. Of all the B plots, I'm happy with that one so far.
I almost wish that that Lois had quit the planet in the previous episode, because, you know, like, I think it would have been a lot neater if their move to Smallville was like all of them were kind of pushed into it, except Jonathan, and he was the one who had to like learn to grow up with that, and maybe he, you know, lashes out or something. Kind of a role reversal, which would be interesting, but like, if they were gonna make Lois quit from the planet anyway, I don't see why they couldn't have just done it in the previous episode, which would give her more reason to be like, yes, let's uproot our lives and move to Smallville. But
I'm
glad
actually
that
curious
they did
about her
that.
commute. What was her commute like? Like, was she like, I have a 3-hour drive to work every morning?
She goes, Clark, can you get me there? Yeah, give me a second. Literally.
That's true. That's her commute. Clark brings everyone to their locations every morning.
I would not be surprised. I will say, I do want to say like something positive about this episode. That whole sequence where she does quit was great. I think it was immediately undercut by the slow motion junk that they keep throwing into this show for no reason. But like, her line where she's walking out the door and Morgan Edge's assistant or whatever is like, he's gonna bury you, and she just goes, let him try, and then walks out. I was like, oh yeah, Lois Lane.
Oh, and
But
that's
then they
what I
like
wanted.
slowed it down and were like, I'm cool. And it's like, okay, we get it. Just cut away.
Just cut away. You had it. You had me. You gave me
you
the
had it and
Lois
you
Lane
lost
moment I wanted.
Yeah. And then she slow motion walked into an elevator, and I'm like, CW.
What did you
actually
think, Dan?
Yeah, I kind of liked that the quitting from the Daily Planet did happen in this episode and not the last one, because I feel like it was almost to make the focal point of the first episode to be Superman and kind of the start of everything there, while including all the other side stories and stuff like that. But they went for the character where it was like, people are watching this because they want to watch Superman. We want to show off our special effects. We want to show them that this is going to be a Superman one. And then this episode felt like the focal point was mostly Lois, where once again we do get the side stories of showing Superman and all of that. But this one definitely felt more like they were going, this is the Lois Lane you're going to be getting. This is kind of what she's doing. And it's not being, you're not kind of having your attention being torn from, okay, this is the Superman. These are the kids. This is Lois. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bit more of the kids, but it also seems like the kids are going to be almost there for a bridging relatability for the audience to get in, to kind of have the, oh, it's the kid who's got powers but doesn't know exactly what to do, or kind of has powers done fully. We'll go into that later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the kids in a second.
Exactly. But like, you have the one kid that clearly is closer to Clark, one kid that's clearly closer to Lois, and that they're going to use that for their CW portion of the show. But I definitely feel like the first one being mostly Superman and this one being mostly Lois, it helped cement the characters and really show you what their personalities were like and how their status quo is going to be in this show, as well as show where each of them's coming from and what they're leaving to come to Smallville. And now I feel like we're going to go more into the Superman and Lois as opposed to Superman and Lois. And we're going to get both of them now. So I actually kind of enjoyed
the
that.
episodes.
So.
Superman Lois, Superman Lois, Superman Lois.
Yeah, like,
I mean, possible.
So
That's fair. I'm not like you know, hard pressed on that. It could go either way to me. I'm glad that they did it, like, regardless. Like, if she was still at the planet and was going back and forth and like fighting Edge from within, that would have been, I don't know. I feel like the whole point of them moving to Smallville was to completely like status quo change their lives, and I think divorcing everything from Metropolis was the way to go. So I'm glad that they did it regardless.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I feel like it also gave a good introduction to the two villains without having one trump over the other.
Yeah.
So the first one we go,
True.
Here's Luthor. Second one we go, here's Morgan Edge. Now you know
I'm
who the
really
two bad
hoping
guys are.
Morgan Edge does not get powers. Like he just stays
Yes.
like Lois's villain instead of like later on he's like, and I also am extremely evil.
I was just gonna say how much you want to bet that like Lex like kidnaps Lois or works with Morgan Edge in some capacity at some point. But hopefully not.
I was looking at it.
Just
and
leave
I was
Morgan
like,
Edge as a corrupt businessman. Just leave it.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Doesn't also need a
essentially,
battle suit.
It's the one Lex Luthor. We just have both versions. We have the one with the power suit, and we have the evil businessman.
That's true.
But they wanted
He
to
shaves his
change the
head
name.
at some
Yes.
point.
There you go.
That would be funny.
He's like,
okay,
my real name's actually Lex Luthor as well.
my name is
What a
Morgan.
crazy revelation.
Morgan
Lex.
Edge. But Edge is
Morgan
my mother's
Alexander.
maiden name. My father's name is Luther.
Also, my mom's name is Martha.
All right, so let's talk before we get to, because I want to end this with the Superman discussion. The kids themselves, I do feel like their acting improved a lot. Almost like it was. I don't know how it was hard to explain, but the first episode just felt very forced with their acting. This one just felt more natural in general. They're already kind of flipping the head though. Like we all thought Jordan was gonna be the Superboy. They dropped the name Superboy only to
he
immediately.
is.
You think? But
He is. It's the CW. They're gonna play this out for. What, does he have powers? Does John have powers? Yes. Does Jordan have powers? Yes. They both have powers.
We're gonna end the season with them both having powers. But he went to we got to see the Fortress of Solitude. We got to see Jor-El, which I don't know. I felt that the Jor-El he's not what I was expecting.
He's fine. I have qualms about the Fortress, and I also do want to mention like a couple things. Like just continuity things that with the whole CW verse and also the continuity of its own show. We've already seen the Fortress of Solitude. It doesn't look like it does in this episode.
It's the back room.
It's
This is
the
back
Cave
room.
of Solitude,
okay.
actually. I'm not sure if you knew that. It's the Cave of Solitude.
It's the Cave of Solitude. It's a different area that uses completely different technology and looks entirely different.
Super
than
The
the
Supergirl-
Guest
set that
House
they
of
use.
Solitude.
Supergirl goes to the right. Superman goes to the left.
I see.
And he's like, this is the Superboy room. Clearly, we weren't sure if we were going to use it, so we didn't furnish it or anything.
But the other thing is just I want to somebody in the comments, maybe you can clear this up for me. They showed Jonathan having powers in the first episode.
No, what they did show was they imply like he said he's really good at football and he threw the football and it like cut
Yes.
through the rope. And that is all we've
broke a
seen
rope.
that implies that he may have powers. Now, I don't know anyone that could throw a football so fast it burns a rope, so I'm sure
you.
this is going to lead to something.
And the thing I was like, maybe that was a mistake or it's a red herring or whatever. But
Yeah.
they homaged that scene in this episode. It's the same scene.
Yeah.
He throws a football at it, but it doesn't break this time.
Now, the
So-
the comments down below
has
can tell me if
powers.
I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Tom Brady can't cut down a tire with a football. If
Tom
I'm
Brady
wrong,
can prove us wrong.
yeah, it's like if Tom Brady can do it, then I'll be like, oh, you know what? John doesn't have powers, man. He's just the new Tom Brady. Like,
Yeah, he's just really good at throwing a football. That's his one power.
but it seemed like at John, I can't figure out. Because the episode started out with what we thought was going to happen. Jordan was going to have powers. John was going to get upset. And he opens it up with like the line of like, oh, they get to go flying and I have to go to school. And oh my God, Jordan, you ruined school for me by kissing this girl at the bonfire that we all go to every Saturday.
A weekly bonfire.
The weekly bonfire, Jordan. What were you thinking? And it looked like we were going in that direction. He was going to take all the punishment for Jordan. Jordan got to have the cool life. But then we found out that Jordan doesn't have powers. Doesn't have powers.
He does.
I've got a theory behind that, actually.
But what I'm saying is like, and then John like turns out, oh, if no one's going to back you, I've got you, Jordan, and we'll figure out your powers together. And I'm just like, no, you're supposed to be getting angry at him. What happened?
I told you, they fixed the writing. They were like, oh, whoever wrote the first episode, maybe it's the same person, I didn't look at the credits, but whoever wrote the first episode was like, they will butt heads. And then the second writer looked at that and was like, no, that's stupid. And they fixed it. So, Dan, you said you had a theory, though.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
powers.
so I have a theory that Jonathan started like slowly showing his powers, then Jordan having the sudden burst of powers essentially reduced John's courage in himself. So he's almost like repressing his own powers. He'll conflict with his brother, and then eventually John will show, oh no, I've actually got better powers than Jordan. And then Jordan's going to be the one that goes, oh, how dare you? You're better than me in all things now. This was my one thing that I had. And then we'll have some weird, like, find himself montage in the background. But
I can see that because that's like the Wally West Barry Allen thing, where Wally
Exactly.
just couldn't run faster than Barry because
Right.
he didn't want to surpass him.
Exactly.
I do find it funny because you talked about I thought I had this one thing. One thing I did want to know out of there was a key line in there. The opening of the episode starts with them being like, no, Jordan, you can't go to school because you might be Superboy. And he's doing like angsty teen. Oh, I'm still a freak. I have superpowers and my dad is Superman and I don't get to go to school. What's wrong with you? And I'm just like, okay, kid, reel it back just a little. I mean, I don't know any kid that's going to be like, oh no, I have to be Superboy.
and I don't have to go to school? What?
You know what I just realized? Jordan has curly hair. If he puts on a jean jacket, he could be the Metropolis Kid. That's all I'm saying.
So the kids were a little more interesting. I mean, I am kind of curious what they're going to do with this. If we're both going to get powers, if neither's going to get powers, if they're both going to get powers in the finale of the 13th episode that's going to air in May, and then we'll have season 2's actually their powers, and we'll just kind of go back and forth of them yo-yoing their powers all season. It's going to be interesting. But let's move on to the last big topic I want to talk about today. Superman and this new Lex. Now, right off the bat, we finally established a little bit more of this Lex. He was a soldier in this other universe. He worked with Sam Lane, and at the beginning he said that Superman destroyed his world, and then we saw this evil Superman, which apparently always wears black and silver when he's evil.
Well, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
come on.
how we know it's the evil one.
I just want to say, for one split second, I thought when they panned up, I was going to be looking at Henry Cavill in that suit.
I did too.
In
I
my
did too.
mind. I would have been like, this show's great. But they didn't do that.
But when he mentioned that, I was thinking, do you think they're going to dip into the Injustice storyline? Like this Lex is, I mean, that's a huge blockbuster seller. A similar plot to on this planet, Superman lost Lois and went evil, you know?
I could see that. I'm sure there's going to be some reason for him going rogue. But, I mean, the black suit doesn't really, as far as I know, doesn't point to any particular version of Superman being evil. They're just kind of using that because it's like a fun analog to I mean, is it maybe this Superman died and he's just pissed off now that he's back and that's why he's in the black suit? I don't know. Who knows? He doesn't have the mullet, so not exactly right.
And he's also not Henry Cavill, so they didn't take
True.
that chance. They could have done it
That
too
would've
because
been
they
so
got the other
great.
Flash. They got the other Flash to pop in on Flash, you know?
Yeah.
That would have been perfect if they just like in this random Superman and Lois episode were like, oh, by the way, yes, Zack Snyder's Superman sucks. He's the bad one.
He's the bad one.
Well, I was thinking it could either be Injustice or they're doing some small alterations to like the Crime Syndicate. And
I was
like
kinda
they
thinking that, too.
potentially use the Luthor swapping universes to get into the main universe. And then we have to deal with something like that. But yeah,
They're
I kind of
definitely
prefer
making this Luthor
Injustice.
different.
Be fun.
Yeah, I would prefer them finally touching on Justice, but this Luthor's interesting because he doesn't seem to be super smart or anything. And I know we made fun of the Doom Guy suit, but I realized in this episode it's just Lex Luthor's body armor. It's his power suit.
It is.
They just
But
didn't
his is
color code
green.
it. Yeah, they didn't color code it. That's all they did.
His is very green. It's not just like dark green. It's like green.
Yeah.
So like you remove that, like it's the same color as the Doom Guy armor.
That's what I was realizing. I'm like, if you just take the helmet off, it's just that's Lex's armor.
Yeah,
That's all it
that's
is.
obvious. That's why he has it. But
Yeah.
it's like, you take the color away. It's like, what's the point? Even But
I would have liked if they kept it looking dark and gray like it is now until we got the reveal that it was Lex. And he's like, oh, stealth mode off. And it went bright neon green and purple.
Sure, that'd be great. I'd be down for that. Well, they already did the I forgot about this. They already did like his like bright green suit in Supergirl. So
Oh, yeah.
I guess they needed to change it up. But what was I was going to say something about Lex. Oh, I really hope that Superman from his universe is dead, because I don't want to see evil Superman fight good Superman. That's boring to me personally. I don't know what y'all think about that, but
I agree
get
with you on that one.
Superman versus Zod again, basically.
yeah, like it's we already like Lex is in a big super suit. He's already punching basically toe to toe with Superman.
Yeah.
We don't need to see him fight himself. We saw that in Crisis. We saw that in Supergirl. Like
They keep doing that. The big CGI
Yeah.
super person fight where they just like punch, zip, punch, zip. That's all
Right.
it ever boils down to.
True.
I mean, overall, I thought this episode is a lot better than the first episode. I'm really digging this. I did even like some of the fun nods to like the farm life. I made a joke to Andy about it, but like Lois is arguing with that Keith guy at the barbecue, and he's like, and you just need to get on the page, Lois. Enjoy your ribs. Like
Here's some ribs. I thought he was gonna spit on her food.
yeah, I didn't know what he was going to do, but just the way they did
This
it, I'm
guy.
like, that is like your Southern hospitality right there. Because like my dad's from North Carolina. I've been down there and seen the fan. It's that whole smiling while I'm backstabbing you.
Right.
It's the southern
Also,
mic
Lois
drop.
would not eat that whole rack of ribs. I don't. That girl
I
is
don't
too
know.
small
Sure
to
she
eat
would.
that whole rack.
She's an impressive lady. I'm sure she could down a full rack of ribs and
She could
Probably have
have
a
an
second
eating disorder. Who knows? Maybe that's the next CW drama plot.
Lois, how did you eat that whole rack of ribs? Well,
I
actually,
can't keep weight on me. Ah!
all right. Well,
Thank
overall,
you, CW.
are you guys going to keep watching it next week? Episode 3? We'll do this again. Is you both coming back?
Yeah.
We already lost
Yeah.
Sal. I called him Sal's like, do
I-
you want to get back on? And Sal was like, can I do the Disney ones?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it, just because I'm not like hooked. I'm still not like super hooked on anything other than Tyler Hoechlin himself. But
He's still a
You
great
know,
Superman. Still.
yeah, he's the best part of this show.
Yeah.
And this episode was better. I don't think it was like fantastic by any stretch, but it was better than the previous one. So yeah, I'm along for the ride.
All right. And Dan, you're officially
Yeah,
on Absolutely Marvel in DC.
Right. No, I'm definitely gonna keep watching. It's hooked me enough that I don't mind keep watching, and it has not done anything where I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, do I really have to do this? So I mean, I'm
Flash-
excited to keep going with it. So
Flash is the show that I've watched all the way through. But there are other shows I've cycled in and out of with the exact attitude of that. I'm like, all right, well, it's my job. I'm going to talk about
Yep.
the shows this week. Superman is probably the second show that I've ever been like, I'm in. Other than Black Lightning Season
Fair.
1. I really liked Black Lightning Season 1. I binge watched that thing. So
Yeah. I will say the only CW show that I have stopped watching out of wow, I can't watch this anymore is Batwoman. So
yes,
I
was
don't think
thinking
the show
that
is anywhere
honestly.
near that yet.
That was one of the ones that I was thinking of with the whole, oh my gosh, do I really have to do this?
Yeah.
I think I got like 7 episodes in, missed a week of it, and then it was like, now I got to watch 2 of them. I think I'm done.
That was Benny going, oh no, I'm behind. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I gotta drop
I missed
it.
an episode. I guess I don't watch Batwoman anymore, man. I'm sorry.
I'd watch
Oh,
a Batgirl.
well.
But anyway, that's a different
Yeah.
topic altogether.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. We're trying to keep these around the same length, 15 to 25 minutes. Let us know if you prefer the more stretched out episodes, if you prefer us to more to be on point. Let us know in the comments down below as we kind of grow and adapt this channel to what you, the viewer, want to watch. This has been our analysis of Superman and Lois, episode 2. We'll be coming out with an Easter egg video very soon. Dylan, you're on that. He's like, what? Oh, it's crap.
Okay, I figured I was.
And we'll be hitting you back with some Flash season premiere. Thank you guys, and see you next time right here at Absolutely Marvel and DC TV shows. I'm adding a caveat.
Okay, cool.